What's up, everybody? Sunday Sessions, episode 51. Here to deliver a ton of information and resources to help you build massive Amazon wholesale businesses. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Eric Castellano. I'm the owner of Amazon Lit. I've been selling on Amazon for about a decade, and we operate a top 50 Amazon business in the U.S. I'm super excited for the next, 30 to 45 minutes to provide a ton of information to all of you and answer some of your questions. So we're going to get right into it. It's the middle of Q4, which is super exciting. If this is your first Q4 on Amazon, welcome to the hype. There's a lot of money to be made here. But here's the thing. You just can't show up to the championships and expect to win a game if you haven't been performing and winning previous games. So, I always encourage people to optimize your business throughout the year. So when Q4 does come, you're in a position to make as much money as possible. And in this call, we're going to cover as I answer your questions, we're going to cover a few things to be doing in Q4 to really optimize your business and profitability, because there's a lot of money to be made at the end of the year. Typically 30% of our profit comes from Q4, although it makes up 25% of the year. So there's a nice little extra 5 to 10% in profitability that you could be making at this time of year. So we're going to cover a few of those things as well. And the first of all, what's up, everyone? If you're joining here, we're live on a few different channels. YouTube, if you want the full experience, pop it up on the big screen and take some notes, right? Get your pen and pad out. I got mine here. I encourage you to take some notes on this live because it's going to be super, super informative for you, especially if you're already operating an Amazon business or even if you're considering getting started, right? But typically my target audience, Paul, Ethan, what's up? Typically my target audience is established business owners, right? Because my ability to help you scale is much greater than my ability to help someone who's starting from zero. Not that we don't work with a bunch of sellers who are starting from zero, but it's just more complicated to help someone who has zero understanding of the Amazon space hit their first 50,000, opposed to someone who's already doing $50,000, $100,000 months and help them become a multiple six-figure seller. So as far as optimization for Q4, and if you got any questions throughout this, just post them in the chat. I'll get to them when I see them. But as far as optimization for Q4, the first thing we're going to discuss is pricing. Pricing. You got to be diving into your repricer at least every other day, preferably daily, to look for those products that you can increase prices on. Just yesterday, I repriced 13 pages of 25 each. So just yesterday, I repriced 325 products. And on about 75% of those, I was able to increase the ceiling price, meaning the highest price we're selling it for, by $2 to $3, right? And let's just say the average product that I repriced is selling 5 units a day. So times 15, so that would be 5 products times $3 in profit. That's an additional $15 in profit daily. And 325 times 0.75. If I made changes to 243 products, that's an additional $3,645 in profits being generated for my business or your business daily by going through our inventory, looking at our repricer and making those pricing changes, right? So yes, maybe your business isn't as large as ours. That's okay. If you could do half of that, that's still an additional $1,800 in profits being generated for your business. I mean, sign me the fuck up, right? It's one of the most important things you could be doing at this time of year is not only looking at the products that are priced at your ceiling and that you can increase because you have less than 30 days of supply. So how you slow that inventory down from selling out too quickly at a lower profit percentage is by increasing the price, slowing down potentially the movement of that ASIN to get the full 30-day life cycle of those sales. All right, we got a repricer question here, and then I'm going to get to Q4 optimization number 2. So Q4 optimization, please, I hope you got your pens and pads out here. Q4 optimization number 1 is going through your repricer and looking at products that are priced at your ceiling and increasing those prices based on days of availability. Yeah, Fojo. So that's a great question. Fojo asked, shouldn't your repricer be doing that for you? And here's the thing, repricers work with a ceiling and a floor, right? So let's say you're setting your floor price, the minimum price you're going to sell it at a 10% margin, and you're setting your ceiling prices at a 30% margin. In Q4, typically some of the prices increase because the demand increases. What happens when that product could potentially go to a 40% margin, but you're stuck at the 30 because that's what your ceiling's at? You're missing out on those additional 10 margin percentage points in profit, right? And you multiply that by dozens of listings over the course of an entire 2 months, you're missing out on thousands, and for your potentially larger sellers, tens of thousands of dollars in net profits, right? Net profits back into your bank account, which is massive. No, we use a repricer. See? And this is why I love talking about this shit, because everybody thinks as soon as you get a pricer, it's set it and forget it. And I promise you, it is not set it and forget it with a repricer, my friends. You gotta be diving into your repricer consistently. It's one of the most important aspects of your business, second to buying the inventory. Most important aspect, number one, buying profitable inventory. Second most important aspect, number two, repricing that inventory to make sure it's selling at the best prices, right? It's not set it and forget it with a repricer, my friends. So glad I'm doing this. All right, so that brings me to tip number 2 for Q4 profitability increasing, right? So you can optimize the amount of money you're making at the end of this year. Tip number 2 would be floor prices, right? So tip number 1, write this down, everyone, was ceiling prices. Tip number 2 is floor prices. Check the products that are stuck at the floor price. If it's 10% for you, you probably have 10 to 15% of your available inventory stuck at that 10%, right? And if you're not manually jumping in and looking at that inventory, you may be missing out on a lot of opportunity of not only selling through that inventory if it's potentially low profit or no profit, right? To remove that inventory from your current available inventory and getting cash back into your business to reinvest into other products. Or potentially you might be stuck at that 10% and everybody else is selling it at 8%. So you're missing out on 2 margin percentage points because you didn't pop open the listing and check them. So I encourage you, check your floor prices as well. A great way to do this, if you're using some of the more advanced repricers like SellerSnap, Goora might even have this. I know SellerSnap has it. I recommend SellerSnap for anybody who's doing, $20,000 to $30,000 plus months on Amazon. But a great way to do this is sort by available days of inventory, right? Because a healthy sell-through is between 8 and 12 on Amazon, meaning your average product's in stock for 30 to 45 days. So if you're putting your prerequisite and you're creating a file that says, hey, SellerSnap, give me every product that has an estimated days of inventory of 45 days or greater. You're now able to look at every single ASIN that you have in stock that has potentially 45 days more or inventory. So if it's got 50 days of inventory, 60 days of inventory, 80 days of inventory, and even worse, 90 days plus, 180 days plus, 270 days plus of inventory. Those are the products that you need to get out of your inventory sooner rather than later to get that cash back into your business and reinvest it into more profitable products. Right? You with me here? So Q4 optimization. Tip number 1, go through your repricer. Look at products that are at your ceiling. Q4, business optimization. Tip number 2, go through your repricer and look for products that are at your floor. We're going to get to tip number 3 here in a second, so don't leave if you're with me. And I hope you're writing this shit down. This is the stuff we talk about in the meetings with our teams. This is the stuff we talk about with our inner circle members, our EsellersRI weekly calls. Like, this is the type of information we're delivering to them because this is what moves the needle. I'm going to dive into some questions here. Give me about a minute. What do you do if you get an inauthentic claim from inventory bought from a liquidator? Unfortunately, if you're buying inventory from a liquidator or a closeout company, their invoices will not work for approval. So you're going to have to eat that one. Tech news. I saw your post. You met the CEO, do 75 million a year. What were a few takeaways you got from that conference? A few takeaways was that this space is much bigger than you think it is, right? Because I thought I was pumping out huge numbers doing $70 million a year, and this guy's doing $70 million a month, right? So there's always bigger goals to reach out for. There's always someone who's doing something better than you. And the day you think you have it all figured out is the day you stop growing as a business owner. A huge part of optimizing and scaling a large business is all up here, right? It's in your mindset, followed with systems and SOPs in order to keep everybody on the same page. So there's perfect communication within your infrastructure, because as soon as that communication begins to fail, your business will begin to fail. And the thing is, this is where it gets scary. It won't happen overnight. It's going to compound week over week, month over month, until you look at your business and you do a financial review and you realize that, hey, I'm not making any money. And typically it's not you who figures that out. It's your CPA who figures that out, right? And you don't want to get to that point. You do not want to get to that point. No, it wasn't Pattern. It was Utopia Deals. Dude does $70 million a month on Amazon. All right, stick with me here. We're about to get in tip number 3 for growing your business in Q4. And this is huge because it really applies with the week coming up, with the deals we got going on between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Amazon calls it T5, Turkey 5. You know, the 5 days that you have an opportunity to make a ton of sales. I'm predicting that on Black Friday, we're going to do $350,000 in sales. And you know what my CFO says? Ted, he says, Eric, it's not enough. We need to do $400,000 in sales on Black Friday. And I said, Ted, I'm going to be realistic. I think we're going to hit around 350 based on the data, based on our inventory, based on what we have on stock, based on our pricing strategies. And that brings me to tip number 3 to grow your Amazon wholesale business or Amazon business in general in Q4. And that is deals, coupons, promotions, and PPC. All right, you with me, everybody? I'm going to say it one more time so you can write it down. Deals, promotions, coupons, and PPC. That is tip number 3 to optimize your Amazon business growth in Q4. Especially we're in this week right now. Amazon, if you go to set up a coupon, what do they tell you? I just set up 7 coupons for one of the brands I manage. Right at the top of the page, it's got a little notification. Hey, you should optimize this coupon from 11/17 to 11/27, right? So that 10-day window, Amazon's considering it a higher velocity shopping days for customers to purchase your inventory. So if Amazon's telling you that more customers are going to be purchasing your inventory, then what should you do as a business owner? I'd love to hear it in the comments what you think you should do to help optimize the sale of your businesses. I'll give you 30 seconds. What are some of those things you should be doing as far as promotions and setting them up so you can optimize your sales? Anybody got anything for me? There we go. All right. Yep. Some coupons, some PPC. Absolutely. That's what you should be setting up, right? So this is the way I do it. Anything that I'm having trouble moving, has super high ranks, I'm adding it to a PPC campaign. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Anything that has slow movement and you're having trouble moving in your inventory, you're going to want to set up PPC campaigns. Carson Wholesale just pointed it out. Low bid PPC campaigns. I'm talking 5 cents to 15 cents per click. You want to set these campaigns up. What this is going to do is prompt Amazon to kick you in the buy box and also allow customers to purchase that inventory because it's going to get shown to them through impressions, right? Which will increase the shopping on that listing and in turn decreases the BSR, which is the bestseller rank. And the lower the bestseller rank, the more opportunity you have to sell it. That's what this game's all about, right? Buy box priority, BSR, optimized listings, profitable inventory. That's the name of the game here. Second thing you want to do, if you have any brand partnerships or products that support higher margins, You want to be setting up coupons on that inventory. You can also set up deal of the days, lightning deals, any advertising that will help you get your products in front of that customer, right? And to that listing page to add it to their cart is going to be massive for you. Now, I'd like to point out, if you do have brand exclusive partnerships or you have wholesale bundles, typically any listing where you're the only seller on that product page, if you look at your PPC campaigns or you look at your coupon data and you are getting a lot of impressions, meaning people are seeing it, and you are also getting a lot of clicks, meaning people are not only seeing it, but they're clicking on it, and you are getting little to no purchases, that means your listing images are trash, right? That means your title and your description for that product are trash. You need to optimize them, because what's happening is people are seeing the advertisement, little tiny thumbnail, short little description. They say, oh, this is something that I potentially may want to buy. They then click on it. But when they get to your listing page, they are not converting. So you need to figure out why they're not converting. And the guy from Utopia Deals, Jordan, what he taught me and what I've known for many years is there's a few things that allow you to convert on a listing. One of them, most important, images. Second, pricing. Are you competitive enough in the market to win the sale? Right? And number three would be reviews. And we all know with general wholesale, a majority of your inventory has a lot of reviews already because it's brand products that people know and trust. And they love leaving reviews on those products. Now, if you operate a brand partnership or a private label product or a wholesale bundle, getting those reviews is a little more challenging. Right. So just to recap here, and then we're going to dive over to some questions. Absolutely. Tech News just pointed out B2C or B2B discounts, rather. You want to have some business to business discounts. You know, you could set up 2% across your entire inventory, prompting businesses to purchase your products because they could save 2%. And the cool thing with B2B on Amazon, when you're buying on Amazon from a B2B customer and you're a business, Amazon gives you net terms to pay for that inventory. That's fucking amazing. Amazon says, hey, buy this new laptop for your business. And you know what? You don't have to pay us. You don't have to pay us for it for 30 to 60 days. But you get to use it. Buy these 2 new monitors so you can optimize your setup, right? And have a screen here and a screen here and a screen here. Buy that new Zebra printer. And you don't have to pay us for 30 to 60 days. Right? So I hope you got your pens and pads out. We're going to recap here. Tip number 1, optimize your ceiling prices. You're missing out on thousands, and for some of you bigger guys, tens of thousands of dollars a month in not optimized listing prices in both tip number 1, ceiling, and tip number 2, floor prices, right? So tip 1 was optimized ceiling. Tip 2 was optimized floors. Tip 3 was set up some coupons, discounts, and deals. You need to have them in order to thrive. This next week is one of the largest shopping weeks on Amazon. Like I said, my personal goal is $350,000 a day, you know, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And in between, it will be probably high, mid twos. You know, we're going to sell a lot of inventory. We got almost 500,000 items in stock right now. I have to sell that shit, right? That's $5 or $6 million worth of inventory sitting in Amazon. If that inventory is not moving, my business is not making money. If my business is not making money, I will have trouble paying my vendors and my employees. That is not a solution for me. That cannot happen. So every decision we make in our business and every decision you make in yours should be about optimization and sell-through, right? Making sure the inventory that you purchased is selling. And it's okay if you lose on some. You can't win them all. You cannot win them all. I just ran a report. Let me pull up this data the other day because this is something that I think you'll find interesting. And while I'm pulling up this data, let me get to some questions. Do sales slow down at all before Black Friday because people waiting to buy? Absolutely. 100%. I just had a phone call with one of our EsellersRI members 2 nights ago on Saturday evening, or no, Friday evening. And she was like, hey, E, typically I do like $1,500, $1,800 a day in sales, but these past 2 days have been rather slow. I'm doing about half of that. I said, don't worry about it. The sales will pick up. And here's the thing, as an Amazon seller, if you're not doing these things that I talked about to optimize your inventory, although you will have higher sales on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, when you look at the entire week, it will be the same as every other week out of the year. It will be subpar, if not average, right? Because what happens is what this gentleman just brought up. The day before Cyber Monday, the day after Black Friday, the day before Black Friday, people aren't shopping as much because they're looking for those deals. So when you take the average sales for the entire week, it pretty much equals out. So if you're not optimizing your inventory, doing these three things that we just discussed, ceiling prices, floor prices, coupons, deals, PPC, volume discounts, all of those things, then you're just going to have an average week. And I don't like having average fucking weeks. I like having exceptional weeks, right? We're going to talk about two more topics here. But first, I wanted to hit some data with y'all. So I ran a report in my business just last week. I wanted to see what percentage of our inventory we actually sell at a break even for or a loss, all right? And when I'm talking break even or a loss here, I'm talking we made $0 or we made negative profits on that inventory. All right, 2.9%. 2.9% of over 3 million items sold were sold at a break even or a loss. That's nothing. That's nothing. So stop overthinking if you want to lose 50 cents, $1 on this product, right? And stop just looking at it in the past 30-day window. Expand that listing for the full life cycle. Look at it for the past year. Look at it year to date. Look at it for the past 12 months. If I made $5,000 on that ace in year to date, and I got 100 units left that I got to liquidate at a $2 loss, absolutely I'm liquidating those at a $2 loss. Because 5,000 minus 200 means I made $4,800 in profit on that product. But people get so caught up in, I'm going to lose $2 on this product that they rather have it sit there and collect storage fees, throwing a Hail Mary, fucking hoping that it will sell. I'm telling you, it's not going to sell. Drop the price, move to $2, make $4,800 out of it, bring that money back into your business and make more money. That's the name of the game here. Now, I analyzed another group of products. These were products that made us $0 to $1.25, which essentially is a break even for us with the expenses in our business. 5%. 5%. So when you take the products at a loss and the products that made less than $1.25, you're talking 7.9, we'll round it up, 8% of the total inventory we sell. That means 92% of our inventory we sell at a profitable amount of $125 or greater. How many people have ran a report like this in your business? I know I saw Paul in here a couple minutes ago. I know he's doing it because he's in Inner Circle. Of course he's fucking doing it. Saw Ethan in here the other day. Dude's been in Inner Circle. I'm sure he's doing it. Let me ask you this. Why aren't you doing it? I probably know why. Probably because you don't know how, or you didn't know you had to, or you didn't even think that that was a metric that you should be analyzing. Of course it's a metric you want to be analyzing. It's how you drive business growth, understanding the data and the information, right? And I'm saying this not to beat you all up, right? But to change what's happening up here. Because if you're really trying to build a 7, multiple 7, even 8-figure business, you can't treat this shit like a side hustle. You can't. When you treat it like a side hustle, you make side hustle money. And one thing I know about side hustle money is it does not change fucking lives. It absolutely does not. I want that legitimate business money. That money where I can go put 6 figures into the stock market annually, buy a rental property annually, right? Put 6 figures into crypto annually, right? Put 6 figures into a high yield savings account annually. Put multiple 5 figures into silver and gold. Side hustles don't do that shit. Legitimate fucking businesses do. You with me here? Amazing. Let me jump into some questions here. Yeah. Is subscribe and save something you do or something Amazon adds for you? So subscribe and save is Amazon's been super restrictive about subscribe and save. You can no longer enroll products into subscribe and save. But what I'm going to do is over on YouTube, I'm going to post the link to access your subscribe and save page. All right. So you can pop open that link and see if you have any products eligible for subscribe and save. I just posted that link. It's sellercentral.amazon.com/SNS/manage. Now, you want to be diving in there right now. So this is crazy that you bring up subscribe and save because I almost made a post about this morning on Instagram. Right now, subscribe and save in recurring revenue for my business. We have $48,000 in recurring revenue for our business in subscribe and save. So let's just round it out up to 50. 50 times 12, that's $600,000 comes into our business with recurring revenue from subscribe and save. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. It's a nice chunk of change. I'll take that every single day. That's guaranteed $48,000 a month in sales. And I don't have to do anything. I don't have to hope the customer clicks on my listing. They've already set it up where automatically they get that product shipped to them. Automatically. Now, number 4 for business optimization. You guys aren't going to like this one, but we have to talk about it. It's taxes. Taxes, taxes, taxes. Give me 1 second here. Would you recommend a prep center or sending items and use Amazon prep service? So listen, if you're trying to get the inventory, if you have the inventory in-house right now, I would recommend using a prep center because typically Q4 Amazon's prep service gets super slow, right? And when it's super slow, it takes longer for them to produce your inventory, and the longer it takes them to produce your inventory, the less chances you have of making money, because typically the longer a product's in stock, the less profitable it is. But absolutely, if you have 1 sticker items, Amazon will not bundle or do any multi-packs, 2 packs, 3 packs, variety packs. They will not polybag that inventory in a bundle, right? So if you have 1 sticker items that can crush and you can get them to Amazon, and let's say they're far away, then absolutely leverage Amazon prep services. But typically I advise using prep centers or prepping it yourself because Amazon has very long prep times. Very long prep times. Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Sarah. Love having you on the live calls. See, Sarah's crushing it. Sarah just got her first warehouse 2 weeks ago. I love that shit. Amazing, Wendy. Welcome. Yeah, side hustle money doesn't change lives. I mean, but we all start off in a side hustle, right? It's the only way to really start a business. I mean, unless you're going to sell everything you got and go all in, quit your 9-to-5, which I do not advise initially. I advise people starting an Amazon business to start it as a side hustle. Start it as a side hustle, and once it begins to scale, most people like to quit when they're making 100% of their 9-to-5 income. I advise you to quit when you're making 60%, right? Because when you're making 60% of your 9-to-5 income, and now you have an additional 40 hours to put into your side hustle, turn full-time income, how much quicker is that business going to grow? It's going to grow super fast, right? So right now, everybody, we're going to talk about how to optimize the money you make, because I know some of you in this call, I've seen some heavy hitters in here. We got some Inner Circle members who we just talked about this on our live monthly Inner Circle call about tax strategies a couple days ago. I'm going to touch on a few points of what you should be doing as business owners to optimize your taxes. So first, step number 1, it's a little late in the year to consider it, but something to consider for next year is paying quarterly taxes, right? Where essentially you take your total amount owed for taxes for 2023, you move that into 2024, you divide it by 4, and you add 10%. So let's just say your tax burden in 2023, we're going to use simple numbers, your tax burden, what you owe Uncle Sam, the worst uncle of them all, in 2023 is $40,000. You would divide that by 4. So quarterly taxes next year, which is $10,000 times 1.1, because you're adding 10%. In quarterly taxes next year, you're going to pay Uncle Sam about $11,000 a quarter. And what this is going to do is alleviate some of that pressure at the end of the year so you don't get a massive tax bill, especially if you're not stashing that money in an additional savings account, preferably a high yield one to pay taxes every quarter. All right. Now, tip number 2 for tax optimization is Section 179 and bonus depreciation. So bonus depreciation in Section 179 allows you to accelerate the depreciation of machinery or any infrastructure you use within your business. So let's say you have a warehouse, right? And this year, 2023, it's 80%, and the remaining 20% is split over the course of the next couple of years. So let's say end of the year, you need a forklift in your business, right? So you buy a $10,000 forklift. You're able to reduce your taxable income in 2023 by $8,000, which is 80% of that. Now, let's say your average tax rate, which most of it will be for some of you, is 30% times 0.3. That means at the end of the year, you're giving Uncle Sam $2,400 less. And you bought something that you will use in your business in 2024 to grow it. So not only have you made an investment in your business, but you also have been able to decrease your taxable income by $8,000, which gives you a $2,400 savings back into your pocket, right? And the same thing goes, same reason we had a lot of people join Inner Circle in the past 2 weeks, and we're going to have a lot more join in the next couple of weeks, because an investment in education is 100% tax deduction for the year that you make the investment, right? So let's say you join Inner Circle at the M Club, say it's $45,000. $45,000 you will decrease your taxable income by. Multiply that by 0.3%, because that's not what you're giving to Uncle Sam. You now have an additional $13,500 that you don't have to give to Uncle Sam. And you've also made the investment into your business to continue to educate yourself and build out systems and infrastructure and grow in 2024. Right? And on a smaller scale, you can consider EsellersRI. It's a $3,000 deduction against your taxable income. All that shit's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Right? Now, for all you property owners, not going to dive into it, but you got cost segregation. Write that down and research it later. Second thing, Augusta rule. It allows homeowners to rent out their home for up to 14 days per year without needing to report the rental income on their individual tax return. Do you have a rental property? Do you have an additional property that you can rent to your business? Right? Because that's 14 days based on the average rate of nightly stays in that specific area. You can deduct that from your taxable income at the end of the year. That's massive. My new favorite DJ, Che, I sent you some WhatsApps and some Facebooks and an email, man. You don't love me no more? Next thing, this is for all you parents out there. If you got kids, right, it's the child tax credit. Who's got kids in here? I just saw Richie join. I know he's got kids. I know some of y'all got kids. I recognize some of the names. Child tax credit. Your child won't have to pay taxes on their income for a given tax year up to $13,850. Right? So let's say you got an 11-year-old. You have them come to the warehouse once a week and do some sweeping and some cleaning every week for 52 weeks. You can now pay that child $13,850. And because it stays in the family, that is a $13,850 savings. Right? So not only do you decrease your taxable income, but the entire amount of money stays in the family because it goes into the child's bank account. Or better yet, set up an IRA for that kid. And now you're building future wealth for your child. No brainer. Child tax credit. Massive. And there's just a few requirements. You can use that money to buy them clothes and whatever else they need. And that's pretty much tax deductible. Yes, you can use that money for whatever they need, right? Let's say you got a baby. You need a model for a new listing you're going to create. You put that baby in there. It doesn't even have to be their full body. It could be their hands. They are now a baby model. And you can pay them a reasonable salary based on your research on Google of what a baby model makes to model for pictures, which I'm sure is not cheap. All right? And best part is, you don't even have to make those listings go live. Not all of them, at least. So now you're able to deduct that from your taxable income as well, right? And some other things I'd like to point out. So if you're a new business owner, you can deduct startup costs up to $5,000. You work from home? I do. I'm in my home office right now. You can write off your home office divided by the square feet of your home times your home expense. Or you can just do $1,500, whatever makes more sense for your business. Any retirement plan contributions to 401ks, Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, simple IRAs, that's all tax deductible. Depreciation on vehicles, especially now that you got bonus depreciation, right? Vehicle weighs over 6,000 pounds, even better. Meals, 50% of your meals, and 100% of your meals that are directly related to employee eating. So company parties, direct meals with employees, those are all tax deductions at the 100%. 50% for meals you have for yourself. No, BC Deals, you will not. If your business did not produce any profit, you will not owe any money. You only pay the government on profits that you made for your business. All right, if you just turn cash, what you could do though, BC Deals, is you could use that startup tax deduction of $5,000, right? And you may be able, if you have another job and you're combining that income, right, you may be able to decrease any tax liability you would have on any additional income that you have, right? And listen, I'm no CPA here, right? These are just things that I do in my own business. Travel, 100%. This is why just last week, I literally booked 8 different airfare flights to Las Vegas for ASD because I want to deduct that against my taxable income for the end of 2023. I don't want to move that expense over to 2024. I'm going to have new expenses in 2024. So I booked we got, I think, 8 or 9 hotel rooms for 5 nights each. So that's 40 nights of hotel rooms. We got 8 tickets, half of them being first class, right? And we also started paying for some of the events, and we paid for the sponsorship at ASD, and we paid for the place we're hosting BGHL. I wanted to pay for all of that in 2023 because I'm going to make a lot of money this year. And I want to decrease that taxable income by as much as possible. Now, here's one you probably didn't know: bad debt. You got any bad debt? Does a vendor owe you money that you don't think you're ever going to get? You can decrease your taxable income by the money that they owe you. And then just the fundamentals, right? And I touched on this before, and I'll touch it on again. Education, right? EsellersRI, tax deduction. Inner Circle, tax deduction. That live event you want to attend, tax deduction. Brand workshop, tax deduction. All these things you can deduct against your taxable income. You know, obviously the regulars like salaries and wages, subscriptions, rent and utilities, marketing and advertising, business insurance. These are all 100% tax deduction. You know, so listen, I'm just here trying to educate you of the things that I wish I knew early on, right? Like I wish I knew early on that, you know, hey, if I invest in this program that's going to teach me how to absolutely change my life, and it's going to help me grow my business, and I could decrease my taxable income by doing that. If I knew that 5-6 years ago, I would have started investing in programs, courses, and mentorships much sooner, right? Or like, hey, if I knew I can buy a rental property and then I can use the cost segregation study to accelerate the depreciation of plumbing and electricity and some of the infrastructure within the home over 5, 7, and 15 years versus 27 and a half years, which is the typical depreciation of a home. If I would have known that years ago, I would have bought a lot more rental properties, right? If Sebastian knew that he could use the child tax credit 5, 6 years ago, he would have been using that much sooner. So I don't want y'all to fall on the same path I had to learn the hard way from. I'm sharing this information with y'all to help elevate what's here, because that's the most important. It's definitely the most important. I have to find something similar, Section 179 in Canada, like you guys were talking about in the call last week. Actually, absolutely, Manish. I'm sure if you hop into Google, you could find something. Absolutely, Wendy. If you have property, Google right now, Wendy, if you have property, cost segregation study, as well as the Augusta rule. Those are two things you can leverage 100%. I actually had an example I did the other day, and by a cost segregation study, let me pull it up right here. So with using a cost segregation study on a 500,000, no, this specific tax information is covered in Inner Circle. But a lot of the other stuff I talked about is in EsellersRI. And full transparency, EsellersRI is our flagship program. That's where most people get introduced to this information. That's where most people are able to build 6- and 7-figure businesses. And then when they're able to build that 7-figure business and they become eligible to join Inner Circle, then they're like, man, I'm all in. I need to be in Inner Circle because this information has absolutely changed me, right? But I did a study in one of our recent Inner Circle calls, and I broke down how to do a cost segregation and the numbers behind it, and the additional savings back into your pocket for the first 5 years of doing a cost segregation study on a property is $7,000. A $500,000 duplex is $7,447 a year in money straight back into your bank account. That's over $35,000 in 5 years that you're able to put directly back into your bank account. That's not the tax deduction amount. The tax deduction amount is $38,000 a year, which becomes an annual savings of $14,000. But when you typically write off a property that you don't do a cost segregation study on, if it's a residential, it's over 27 and a half years. And if it's commercial, the deduction is over, I think it's 35 years. Right? But with the cost segregation study, you're able to accelerate that depreciation over 5, 7, 15, and 27 and a half years, which is a fucking game changer. All right. So just to review here. We covered a lot. I'm going to wrap this up in a couple minutes. We talked about 4 things to optimize your business in Q4, right? So if you struggled this year, you never have to struggle again. That's the name of the fucking game over here. And don't forget what I said before. If you want to build a side hustle, you'll make side hustle money. You can't come in with that mindset. I understand a lot of you still have 9-to-5 jobs. That's cool. Keep doing that, right? But if you really want to generate wealth from Amazon, you got to allocate more time. Figure out where you can squeeze an extra couple hours a week and dedicate it to your Amazon business. And most importantly, your 2 main focuses should be buying profitable inventory and becoming a master of product research. And number 2, it should be repricing your products and make sure they're selling properly. And that brings us to the 4 tips that we covered today. Number 1 was optimizing your inventory in Q4 by increasing your ceiling prices in your repricer, because you're missing out on thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in potential profit for your Amazon wholesale business or Amazon private label business or Amazon OA, RA business, book selling business, whatever business you're running. You're missing out on hundreds or thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars of profit by not doing that. Next thing, optimize your floor prices. Because your product's stuck at the 10% profit margin, you sit in your floor price and you haven't looked at it in 45 days. Everybody else is selling it at 8%. And now over 2 percentage points, you're losing thousands of dollars in potential profit because you have not jumped into your repricer. A repricer, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. It is not set it and forget it. Your repricer is not set it and forget it. Write that on your piece of paper. Not set it and forget it. Write it here. You cannot just set your prices on your repricer and forget about them. You got to be going in there, pulling reports, looking at this information, making changes. Tip number 3 for growing your business in Q4, set up some deals. We got T5 right around the corner, my friends. Set up some coupons, some PPC, some volume discounts. Set up a lightning deal if your margin supported. Even though it's kind of close to the holiday, I don't know if you'll be eligible for a lightning deal. But I know you're eligible for a coupon because I just set 7 of them up. $3 off coupon. All right? And now here's some insight. Some of them, based on the $3 off, I'm not making a profit on. But why am I comfortable running the coupon? Because the brand pays for the advertising. So although it may look like I'm not making a profit because I'm giving the customer $3 off, the brand is reimbursing me for that $3. Fucking game changer. Right? And number 4 is taxes, my friend. Taxes. Talk to your CPA. If you're going to have a large tax bill, considering buying some machinery for your warehouse. Get that new pallet jack. Get that new forklift. Also, if you're going to have a high tax bill, join Inner Circle. Right? Make that commitment. Join EsellersRI. I mean, it's an investment into your future. We can guide you for the next 12 months personally, one-on-one, to help you build out your infrastructure so you can turn your $3 million a year business into a $7 million a year business. And probably more profitable as well. Tech News, appreciate you. He just said today was straight fire, coming with the heat. It's been amazing. Any last minute questions? JC, what's up? Bad inventory. No, not until it's sold. You cannot write off any bad inventory, but you can write off any donations that you made or any inventory that you disposed of. Absolutely, Brenda, you could write off donated inventory. So bad inventory, I would consider that, right? Because typically any bad inventory, we pull back and we donate it. And in New Jersey, for food products, you get 1.5x cost of goods. So if that product costs you $10, oh, this is another fucking game changer I got to share with y'all before we wrap this up. So you can, when you're donating goods or disposing of goods, you can not only write off the cost of the inventory, but here's where the magic happens. You can write off the fees associated with that inventory. So let's just say you have a $10 product. That's what it costs you to purchase it. All right. You send it to Amazon, the listing gets removed, you got to create a removal order, bring it back to your warehouse, and you decide to donate it because it's close to expiration and you can't sell it in. There's no other listings to list it on Amazon. So first fee you got that you can write off is the $10 of the cost of goods. The second fee is your prep fee. Let's say it cost you $1 to produce it. So now that $10 went to $11. You shipped it to Amazon. Let's say that's another 50 cents. Now that's $11.50. The removal order. Removal orders are super costly. Let's say it was a kind of heavy product. It cost you $6 to remove that product. So $11.50 plus 6. Now that's $17.50. Right? And let's say when it got back to your warehouse, you had to have an employee handle it. So you had an extra $1 there. So now that $10 product that you're going to write off against your taxable income became an $18.50 product. So that $3 deduction, that $3 back into your pocket just became $5.55. So you just made an extra $2.55 off that product, and you're able to donate it, hopefully to a good cause. You know, a local rehab or a local homeless shelter. That's the name of the game. How late is too late to send in FBA? I'm going to answer some questions, and we're going to wrap this up. How late is too late to send in FBA inventory for Q4? So Amazon, they didn't provide a date on Seller Central, but I talked to my account rep at Amazon, and the date she gave us was December 1st, 2023, which is, you know what, 12 days away. But here's my honest experience of selling on Amazon for the past many, many years. Typically, we're getting inventory received and shipped to Amazon within about 10 days prior to the big holidays, which is Christmas, obviously at the end of the year. Right now it's too late to send an inventory. You get it received by, T5, which is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the 2 days in between and the day before. Yes, Roxanne, they can. Just because Dave, that's what I think we just had an inner circle call the other day too, Dave. I'd love to have you on the team, man. I know you said you were going to follow up. You never did. Kind of sad. Because that's what New Jersey allows. It's all based on the state you live in. It's all based on the state you live in. All right. And final thing before we wrap this up, if you got any value out of this, I appreciate you for being here. Throw a little fire in the emoji so I know you enjoyed this. And if you want to join one of our programs or you want to be guided by us and help scale out your business, send me a DM on Instagram or an email, eric@amazonlit.com. I'll be happy to provide you more information, even get on a one-on-one call with you and answer any questions about the value that we offer inside EsellersRI and Inner Circle to help you scale a monstrous business and make more profit than you've ever made in the coming year, because that's the name of the game. And don't forget, my friends, when you treat it like a side hustle, you get side hustle money. When you treat it like a legitimate business, you make enough money to change your lives and the lives of the people around you. So I hope you had an amazing experience here. I appreciate y'all. If I don't see you in the next week or so, have an amazing Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. And if you're not, just have an amazing week. Stay grateful and stay lit. Adios, my friends. That was a banger.